Shout out to Mark and Jamie, thanks so much for subscribing to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for regular uploads and your chance to be included in shoutouts for future videos. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be making a newer version of the Lots of Lather soap that you seen me make a few months ago for my nephews, and they're out, so I'm going to make another 1 kilo batch. And I don't know where, you know, those egg poachers I used for the molds, I actually don't know where I put them. I've actually been looking for them for half an hour and I seem to have lost them. Well, not lost them, but misplaced them, because I definitely wouldn't have chucked it out. But I can't seem to find where I put it. Yeah, I'm just looking everywhere. Yeah, I'm just looking and I can't see. Anyway, that's all right. I got these new molds. I'm sure you've seen me use them just to pour off little bits of batter. And so I'm going to be using these. So really nice. There's soap on the bottom. So they're nice and small because they are for kids, so it'll be easy for them to hold. And some nice love heart molds for them as well. And some rounded flower molds as well. And I picked these up, actually. I've got, I think, like 6 of them for like $30 or something. I don't remember exactly, but they're pretty inexpensive. They were mini donuts. And I said to my nephew recently, do you want me to make you some donut soap? And he speaks with an American accent, it's so cute. And he goes, yeah. So I'm like, okay. I'm going to use a couple of these because I don't know how they're going to turn out, so I don't want to do too much of them. So it's a tester, good to test. So these are the molds I'm going with, and I'll be doing a lather test today as well. And the lather test is the previous version of this recipe, which is 30% coconut oil, 65% olive, and 2.5% each of sunflower and cast iron. It makes a lot of bubbles. But this time I decided to reduce the olive oil from 65 to 55, and that 10% replace it with cocoa butter, just to help with hardness and to see how it will, you know, the recipe, how it will behave and how it perform. I'm sure it'll be great. It'll be just as great as the previous one, just a little bit extra hardness from the cocoa butter. And it smells a little bit, 10% is okay. You can smell the chocolate a little bit, but that's all right. And I actually been talking to this viewer of mine as well. You've probably seen her comment on previous videos. Her name's Pamela Pratt, and she's from Victoria, and she actually has a farm there too. I don't remember the exact suburb name, but her Instagram is Rosehaven Farms, and you can go on her Instagram and have a look at her farm. Really, really nice. She's got llamas and all sorts of farm animals on there, so go have a look. It's actually pretty cute. And she actually has quite a lot of beehives actually on her property, and she was asking me how to add honey to her batch, and that she's read a lot of horror stories of honey. And personally, I've never really had issues when I use honey and soap. I think it behaves pretty well. So today's video is inspired by Pamela Pratt from Rosehaven Farms. Hello, Pamela. And particularly because she asked me to create a essential oil blend for her for spring. So I went ahead and created a natural fragrance / essential oil blend for her. The only difference between what I made for her and what I've got in here is I've still got a little bit of the water soluble carnation organic fragrance oil, and So that's just a little bit of the gums there at the bottom, and I want to use it up. I don't want it to go to waste. But the blend is organic carnation fragrance oil, rose geranium, sweet orange tenfold with a cedarwood fix. So it's just a nice floral, citrusy type blend. Very, very nice. So that's what's in here. The only difference, of course, the one I sent to Pamela is an actual fragrance oil version of the water-soluble version, but it smells exactly the same. And then I'm going to obviously split it up. That's pink Australian clay. It's a little on the lighter side, this batch, but that's okay. We don't want it too pink. So I just left it at 1.5%. I could have added a little bit more, but we'll see how the colors go. And just a tiny bit of activated charcoal with the white clay, just so it can be like a really soft grey when it cures. Well, after a couple of days, it'll go really, really mild grey. And, well, I hope so. Because I haven't actually, this is just a 1 kilo batch, so I probably added a little too much charcoal, but that's alright. I mean, it's just, we're having fun here today. And it's just for the family, so no big deal whatsoever. Right, so sorry, I went on a tangent. So this is the blend I created for Pamela. Oh gosh, sometimes my head goes 1,000 miles an hour. And I actually decided to use honey for this fragrance, for this recipe. And what I usually do with honey is I add it to my oil mix, and I actually melt it down on low heat, and it's sitting at the moment at 60 degrees, so perfect. And it's in there, the honey, with the soft and the hard oils. And I've also added coconut milk powder in here because I've got to use it up. And that's how you do it. So don't add it in the lye water, whether before adding the lye or after, because it'll just clunk up and that will really overheat. But when you add it to your oils and you melt it just with, with your recipe, with the oils that you're using, it's totally fine. It disperses in the oil. It doesn't cause any issues. I've never had overheating issues. I've never had volcanoing issues. And just soap at 30 to 35 degrees Celsius, and I've just never had any issues. So yes, so I thought I'll just show how really easy it is to incorporate honey. I've used 3% honey, so 30 grams is in here per 1 kilo of oil. Of course, in my lye water, I didn't add sugar because we're using honey. So in here is just obviously the water, the citric acid, the pink salt, and the lye, of course. So I'm just letting that cool off on the side. The lye is at the moment 60 degrees, just like the oils. They're actually identical temperature. So I'll move that behind. I'll move the oils. That's all nice and melted. And that's it. So I'm just going to wait for everything to cool down and then incorporate everything. And I really love this. Pamela was really a big fan of this blend. So I'm pretty sure it won't trade fast because it's only 1% rose geranium. But I do kind of still, I reckon, I'll have to work a little quick. But that's okay. You've seen me with much worse behaving recipes and in a slab as well. So if I can handle that, this is a walk in the park. And the benefits, of course, with honey is any sugar you add in your recipe will incredibly boost lather. But honey, for some reason, it really adds a magnificent lather. And there's something about the conditioning benefits from it when you use the soap. It just leaves your skin, I don't know how to explain it. It just leaves your skin like so hydrated and conditioned, and it feels like, it just feels silky. It just adds an amazing silky conditioning benefit to your bar. So if you've never used honey or you've been scared to use honey, do the honey in oil method. Very, very easy and straightforward. And and I haven't used honey in soap for a while, but Pamela actually kind of inspired me again. And I had honey because my brother-in-law's dad has hives in his backyard, so it's local honey. and within the family, of course. So this is the honey that goes in here, but you can use any honey. And I'm pretty sure Pamela does have honey and beeswax. So if you wanted to reach out to Rosehaven Farms and get farm fresh honey and beeswax, if she has, and if she's willing to sell, maybe just send her a message. And Pamela doesn't use any chemicals on her farm, so you will be getting the purest and local and not processed. So I think after I finish my honey here, I'm going to ask Pamela for some honey because I'd love to try her honey. And of course I will pay for it as well because, I like to do that. And yeah, so I think that's it. These are the molds. I think I've covered everything. Just simple 2-color split in the pot swirl, and waiting for the light to cool down, and I'll mix everything up. And the previous batch, like I mentioned, without the cocoa butter, the other video that I did, previous video a couple of months ago, I'll be doing a lather test for that because people have asked, I want to see the lather test. So no problem there. After I unmold the soap, I will do a lather test for you. Alright, so stay tuned and I'll quit my ranting, my soap rant, and wait for this to cool down, and we're going to make some soap. Right, so it's the next day, and as you see me when I poured these, I wasn't sure exactly how they were going to turn out. But the donut doesn't have the thing in the middle. I don't know, these seem a bit shallow. That's why I only poured one, because you've seen that I had 2 ready to go. And I mean, I guess I could poke a hole through it, but then I'll ruin it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to leave it like that, And the pink clay, for some reason, didn't really come out very pink. This batch of pink clay is really light. I don't know why, but I mean it was fine in the rose bars that I made. It didn't seem to be a problem there, so I'm not really sure. Maybe the cocoa butter, because the cocoa butter is really dark, and it affected how it will come out. But either way, I mean, I still like how they turned out. It's not a big deal. It smells great. Really nice. Very nice spring blend. So I'm just going to finish unmolding these, and then I will do a lather test,